Speak my mind. It's called the Talking NRA Blues. I believe I'm responsible, not ownership, I really do. But you gotta admit something's a little left up, right? Back in 1871, when the Civil War was good and done, a couple of Union generals, Burnside was one, were still kind of bummed about something. See, it was nice and all to win the war, but the truth was his marksmen had been pretty horrible, using a gun called a smooth bore, and all of them weren't known to be too efficient. They were kind of lacking in precision. It was kind of an issue that needed fixing. In fact, their accuracy was so pathetic, about 1 in 1,000 was the number they said it, that a shot that was fired actually made someone dead. No way to run a real country. So try to save America from humiliation to keep up with the rest of the developed nations, they formed the National Rifle Association, at the time under the actual assumption be a sports club for hunting and gun instruction. And not for nothing, but back then they even wanted control of them. See, they viewed the right from which it was based in the frontier survival of the early days, when a man had to protect himself in wide open space, a duty not to be played with or wasted. Until the 70s, they stayed pretty true to that mission. Sport and skill and history and tradition, until two guys named Carter and Knox had a vision to do away with all that business. See, any control of a gun was too much, they thought, slippery slope, maybe the cusp of a full confiscation of guns. So they mustn't put any rules up to prevent what our forefathers trusted we'd understand justly, even after roughly a 100-year cycle since them old pump rifles. But still, they'd be damned if they'd ever submit to a hypothetical tyrannical government. After all, they didn't trust the people running it, so they thought, let's just give them some money to lobby against legislation intended for ex-cons, mentally unstable men, and really anyone having laws they need to bend to get whatever weapon they wanted. They couldn't be stunted. Didn't even matter if they hunted or how many rounds per minute the gun did. It's all green in the middle, sonny. And then came old Moses himself, Charlton Heston, and a fellow named LaPierre as the new vice president, and politicking got even more aggressive. After all, they had to protect their investment. A lot of cash to be made in patriotism, so they swapped out militia with the word individual, preached it was every man's God-given will to be vigilant to the red, white, and blue. Never mind if there's maybe a loose cannon or two, some loner decides what he ought to do is take it out on some folks with a shiny and new unregulated AR-15. So shiny and clean. Because when the news breaks, they'll just offer up a couple of thoughts and prayers, wait for some sales to double, blame it on the TV or the liberal judges, some video games if they got them. Because now's not the time to get soft, after all, so many enemies great and small. You surely better be quick on the draw. In fact, buy them all up if you want them. Might be coming for your mama, Barack Hussein Obama. You guys still like me? Let me just say, shooting's fun, I can dig it. So is driving fast, that's why there's a speed limit. Otherwise, what's to stop someone from giving it gas as they pull through a school zone? Speaking of schools, I'd prefer if I knew that my daughters could go there without bulletproof in their backpacks, so they could sit back in the cafeteria and snack real relaxed like, without having to worry about the attack of the incel with the holograph sight. And one more thing I just can't grapple with is how there's 1.2 gun per capita. That means more than one gun for every single inhabitant, like all 300 million people. More than one gun for each of them. Now, I'm no mathematician, but that kind of division seems unreasonable. Because all that it takes is just a couple of loose screws and a dose of some 24/7 cable news, a regular old case of the Monday blues, and boom, there goes the neighborhood. And thanks to guys like LaPierre and Knox, the sports club don't care about how good a shot you are, or if there's maybe a red flag spot to think maybe you just might not need one. But what's a school kid or two between them? Price of freedom. understand it's awkward to clap. No, it's awkward. I forgot the last verse. I can respect that you might have a family that you'd like to protect if things ever got gnarly, and I support that fully and wholeheartedly. But man, do we need the whole army? No. Remember back in the year 2020 with the GOV''T acting funny, secret police in the streets, and I didn't see nobody reaching for their peace. I guess all that "don't tread on me" stuff and such is a talking point that you can use as a crutch to not have to say that you just love guns so much. If that's the case, I get it, trust me. It's not enough to justify upwards of hundreds of thousands of deaths in this country. How about them constitutional scholars that live and die by the words of our forefathers? When the time comes, seemingly can't be bothered if peaceful protesters get shot up. As long as they're not us, the real patriotic desperados, sitting on our cold, dead hands. So I'm guessing my point, to keep the short story long, is that somewhere the old NRA got it wrong. The original intent to keep our soldiers strong and prepared just went out the window. To cash in and become a lobbying arm for more and more guns, no matter the harm, a man with a long way from back of the farm might need to rethink the system. I ain't saying I got the wisdom, just saying if the mark was a deer for which they thought they needed some real military precision, I think they missed it. Now the Second Amendment is only one sentence, and the word regulated is hard to forget. I'm guessing LaPierre, Moses C. Heston, Oliver North, and the whole damn rest of them couldn't care less if you pass any tests or have crimes to confess. They consider it best. Let them possess, build the war chest, make them all guess that they're being the best they can be to suppress the hypothetical, tyrannical government of the U.S. of A. Because happiness is warm gone. Happiness is warm gone. Happiness is warm gone.